going to get started. We have a folder for everybody with the agenda, I think. And notice of the public hearing. But I'd like to call this meeting to order. And the time is 6:45. Let's do the pledge, I guess. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I guess we have a quorum. One person's missing. Okay. Well, maybe he'll come along. So what I did is I set up just a brief meeting to review the minutes from the prior meeting so they don't pile up in subsequent meetings. So I don't know if you folks had a chance to read the minutes. I read them, and actually went back and forth a little with Betsy because, as you can imagine, there was a lot of back and forth at that meeting. So I think we captured it. And does anybody have any modifications? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, so Ann made a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second? Okay. From Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. So that's pretty straightforward. So I wanted to explain what I've been up to here. So if you hadn't been reading or seeing your email, we set up an email that is called Charter Revision at southbury-ct.gov. And anybody can make submissions by either email, which is there's an email link on our page. Further, there's separate from that a submission form, which is these fields that you can fill in: name, address, phone number, contact info. So it's on our page, which is available. And when anybody an employee or a resident feels compelled, they can submit the content on that form, and it ends up in an email to the account as well. And then finally, what we do, Gosha was kind enough to set this up for me. She modeled it after one of the other committees in town. It generates a spreadsheet, which you will see that it's in your folder. And this is the current content of the font's a little small. I would have printed it on 3 pages myself, but this is how it ended up. I'll send the electronic form for everybody to read more carefully, because that font's tough on the eyes. But we basically received, the first submission was me doing a test, and all the other ones are real. So there's six that we've received so far. And I'll let you guys consider that as part of whatever comments we get tonight. And we'll put all that together and start to think about how we'll approach this at the next meeting. So basically, Mr. Lynch here was kind enough to send something along that we can also consider at the next meeting, which is a proposal for a process, or we'll call it like a project plan. And we can decide how we want to, if we want to use it, how we want to use it at our next meeting. I'll send that out in advance of the next meeting. Are there any questions about the process that we set up for capturing all this? No? It's going to be a short meeting.
No, I think it's a great idea that you came up with this.
So we can continue to receive input from the public for as long as we like, and decide, again, as part of our process, how we might interpret those as we go along, if there are additional ones. But this is the first set. That's it in a nutshell.
And now we add if people reply to you by email, you'll add those to
Yes.
here and just note
So-
that it is an email that came through?
Yeah, well, I didn't note it, but the first 6 were submissions, and the 7th one was an email.
Okay.
And all I did was take all the pertinent information from the email and put it into the 7th entry, and I'll keep doing the same as I get anything. It doesn't take too much time, so I think we can keep our thoughts and all the comments in one place, so. Again, I think this was modeled after the arts and what was that site? There was one of the other committees in town had something like this. And I said, hey, Gosha, can we steal that? And she basically said, yeah. She set it up in about 10 minutes, so worked out really well. That's all we need to do for the special meeting. I just thought we would get all that in place. At this point, we have to wait till 7 o'clock, so for any other folks who care to show up and would like to make a comment, we'll get into that at 7. So if there's no other business tonight, because it's a special meeting, we can't modify the agenda, so we got to kind of close it. So that was all the business I had. Make sense?
Motion to adjourn the special
Okay, Mike. Yeah. Second, Joan? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll just wait for about 9 more minutes, and then we'll do our public hearing, which we did notice. And again, I was hoping that we get folks to come out. I'm glad some folks did come out tonight because of all the various goings on in town. It's been a challenge, as you can imagine. So, okay. Yeah. Turn it on, and you press it again.
Test.
Close enough? Okay. All right, folks. So I'm just going to stand up to address the crowd here. What you said, that's okay. So thank you very much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it. I'm Joe Ruggiero. I'm the chairman of the Charter Revision Commission for 2024-2025. This is Jason Van Stone. He's the vice chairman. So we noticed the public hearing, and again, thanks for coming out. I wasn't sure how many folks we'd get with a gas leak and flooding and things of that nature, but it's appreciated. So what we're going to do tonight is each person has 5 minutes to explain any ideas they might have about changes to the charter. And what we would ask you to do is, this is great that this is wireless. So when you come up here, press this button. It's red right now, it's green, and that turns on the microphone. And speak into the microphone. And what I ask you to do is to give your name and your address. And then what we'll do is, the whole thing is being recorded, and we're capturing all this for the minutes. And then we will add that all to our online submissions. If you forgot something, you can use our email, which is charterrevision@southbury-ct.gov, to send in additional information. And there's also an online submission form as well. So please, if you want to do any written submission in addition to anything you might not have forgotten tonight, please do that. Okay? All right. So what we'll do is, whoever wants to go first. Oh, I don't know if we need, do we need to do the pledge again? I guess we could. We could do the pledge again. All right. All right, so. One more time. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so anybody who would like to share their thoughts with us, please come up. I'll set a timer, and I'll wave my hand at 30 seconds, just to give you a heads up if you're getting close, and then I'll let you know when the time is expired. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead. Great.
Green, there we go. Richard Santo, last name is spelled S-Z-A-N-T-O, 159 Bagley Road. Lived in town 48 years, so I've seen a lot of growth. And I think with the recent developments with going to a independent police department, which I think was long overdue, there should be provisions in the charter for a police commission and either individual commissions too for the fire service and the EMS. If you wanted to make those a combined emergency services one, I think given the demand on all the emergency systems in town, that a commission on each, or covering each, to help with the budgeting and any operational things that the town might feel that they should have, would be really beneficial. I proposed that when we brought up had the meeting on the independent police department, and I did some research, although I couldn't find my sheet in my rush today. Other towns that were very similar in size to Southbury that had gone to a independent police departments, and all of those had commissions. And I should have that on my computer somewhere. I'll forward that to you people as a reference. In the 48 years I've been here, 47 of them I've been involved next door at the fire department. So I'm well aware of how the demand for service has increased. When I came to town, we had maybe 100 calls a year. We're neglecting the individual incidents like 2 weeks ago. We'll probably run around 750 calls this year. And there's a lot involved in trying to sustain that on a volunteer effort. And daytime's tough. I don't know if anybody was in town today for the situation on Main Street South. You know, Oxford, Middlebury, and Sandy Hook and Hook and Ladder out of Newtown assisted. Now, granted, that was a special, large event, but, you know, those things happen. So, that's all I have. Anybody, any questions?
We're not going to be providing feedback tonight. We're just going to accept your input and
Right.
have it
Okay.
looked over in subsequent meetings. Thank you so much for,
I got a meeting.
oh, there you go, okay.
Yeah,
That's why we're using the, thank you.
I have just one question for you.
Yes, sir.
We can't ask questions here, John.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, who's our next victim?
Good evening, Shanna Bertram, 295 Weston Hook Terrace. As a member of the previous Charter Revision Commission, I commend you for the work you're about to undertake. I want to highlight some points I feel you need to examine. First, Section 601, police protection, needs to be completely overhauled. With the forming of our new town police department, the responsibilities of chief, the management structure, and the budgeting should all be clearly spelled out. All references to the resident state trooper and the acting chief of police should be removed from the language. Next, there are 3 items still unresolved from the former charter, which I ask that you add to your deliberations. On June 3rd, 2019, our chairman, Ed Gitness, provided the Board of Selectmen with a charter draft for review. He noted in June with the draft and later in August 28th of 2019 at the final revision that the Charter Commission recommended the selectmen take up these issues or appoint a committee to investigate and make recommendations for those issues. One of them is a Conservation Commission for the management of our open space and town parks. I have few comments on this topic. Perhaps a research into what other towns are doing might uncover some knowledge that, you know, we could add to the charter. We currently rely on our Public Works Department to maintain these areas, and they certainly have more pressing infrastructure work to do. The next was the volunteer engagement. I see the chairman of the DTC and the vice chair of the RTC are on this commission. This should be a topic you're both familiar with. The members you've tasked with finding volunteers to fill open positions and ballots have an uphill battle. Considering 20 of the 37 town boards and commissions currently have vacancies, among these are 6 elected positions. If Southbury is a town that runs on volunteers, it would seem we're at a precarious point in town governance. Lastly, and this topic comes up at every charter revision, as far back as 2008 and perhaps beyond, is a town manager. With the last charter commission, we spent hours deliberating the topic and very nearly added it to the charter draft. Ultimately, it was decided to send the topic on to the Board of Selectmen to be studied in more depth. Twice, the task of consideration and study was sent for the Charter Commission to the Selectmen, once with the draft and again with the final revisions. However, it wasn't until the Board of Selectmen meeting on March 18th, 2021, a full 19 months later, that the topic was placed on the agenda as new business. It was then moved to April 1, 21 meeting for discussion. During those 19 months, a survey was performed by the Strategic Plan Committee, which showed a majority support for the idea among the survey respondents. I would ask this commission to review the minutes from April 1, 21 Board of Selectmen meeting regarding the town manager discussions. No opposition to the idea was voiced, just the way in which it should be researched and proposed to the townspeople. Selectman Buxbaum clearly stated that the town was not too far off from opening the charter again, and it could be looked at by the next Charter Revision Commission. First Selectman Manville felt it should be investigated during the next charter revision. That's you people. On November 18th, 2021, members of the Strategic Plan Commission presented to the Board of Selectmen with their research and findings regarding a town manager. I've included their presentation for your review. I have a whole notebook of information for you. As commission members, please consider the population and size of our town, the increasing lack of candidates for our boards and commissions, the employee turnover in the past 6 or 8 years within the town hall, and the increased management workload of our Director of Finance. I strongly urge this commission to review the materials I'm supplying and ultimately recommend the position of professional town manager be added to the charter. Allow the question to come before the voting population at referendum. It would benefit Southbury tremendously to have a degreed professional, someone with a master's in public administration or equal, helping to steer the future of our town. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Oh, boy, paperwork.
Oh, wow.
Get gifts.
Guess so. Well, thanks for saving all that. Thank you very much.
That's all the reference material. There's one more town just added yesterday. It's East Haven.
East Haven.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I think
Do
there's
you
one.
have one of these?
I guess so.
In the thing?
That's
This thing working?
Take
Yep.
one.
Hang on a second, George.
Do we have enough? I think I had one.
I just want to,
I want to make sure I have all this before I,
Take your time.
Yeah, that's it here.
Here's another one.
Thank you.
thanks for your patience, George. I didn't start the timer yet. Okay. Please.
Greetings. My name is George Bertram. I live at 295 Weston Hook Terrace. And for those who don't know me, I have a BS in mechanical engineering and an MBA with a specialty in general management. I'm a named inventor on 38 U.S. patents. I obtained my first management position in 1975. Since then, I've accumulated 50 years of experience in various roles from project manager to company president. I served on the Board of Selectmen for 6 years, volunteering countless hours on many projects. I recognize good management and well-run operations when I see them. Historically, Southbury has done well compared to Connecticut towns of similar size, but we could do better. So what can we improve? Here's my honest take. Southbury is behind the times in many respects. We are very slow adopters. Town operations are often substandard compared to the private sector, and many think that's okay, but why? Employee morale is often less than stellar, leading to performance issues and high turnover even among department heads. We don't utilize contemporary management practices. Managing people is a blend of art and science. New ideas are often rejected without due consideration. Proactive planning is not our strong suit. We desperately need more citizen engagement as we can't fill openings on boards and commissions, and I'm hearing other speakers asking for more boards and commissions. Unaffiliated voters are underrepresented in town government. These issues are exacerbated by a lack of professionalism in town management. I'm also concerned that leaders on the Board of Finance won't be in their roles much longer, possibly creating a leadership vacuum. Why can't we hire a competent, experienced professional to run the town? The current system offers a choice between two candidates, one from the RTC and one from the DTC, who both struggle to find qualified folks willing to run. To make matters worse, compensation for the first selectman spot isn't competitive with private sector jobs. It is difficult, if not impossible, to recruit top talent under the current system. Note that unaffiliateds are typically frustrated because they feel they are voting for the lesser of two evils in every election. To make things better, I propose that we adopt a town manager system and modify the role of the first selectman accordingly. Is this a radical suggestion? No, not at all. The town manager concept was born at the turn of the 20th century. It is now the most popular structure of local government in the United States, and it continues to grow. The manager system is the most popular structure among municipalities in the U.S. with populations of 2,500 or more. 54% of the more than 4,300 municipalities in the U.S. with populations of at least 10,000 are under a manager. 59% of the 347 municipalities in the U.S. with populations greater than 100,000 have town managers. And a manager system is currently used in 41 out of 169 municipalities. In Connecticut, that's 24%. That percentage grows steadily, with Wilton recently added to the list and Ridgefield now moving to adopt it. The manager approach is taking over because it provides benefits. It creates a well-defined separation between town operations and politics. Town employees are held to a higher standard, more akin to what is expected in the private sector. Employees adapt to the new expectations, become more productive, and operations improve. An IBM report titled Smarter, Faster, Cheaper found that cities with managers are 10% more efficient than those under the mayor-council form. Research also indicates home values in municipalities with a manager are higher. So what does Southbury think about this? Folks generally like the idea. In a 2018 townwide survey, 62.4% of respondents with an opinion favored a town manager. In the last Charter Revision Commission, as you've heard earlier, did ask the BOS officially to consider the option. In conclusion, we have an excellent opportunity during this charter revision cycle to restructure town governance by adopting a manager approach. Consider the fact that we hire a professional grade superintendent to run our schools. The Board of Education hires an experienced PhD level candidate for that job. It would be madness to select a superintendent as we do for a first selectman. Why should the town operate differently? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Don't be shy.
Please. That's helpful, thank you.
Hi, my name is Janet Brzezinski, and I live at 45 Bertiani Road in Southbury since 1998. Thank you for this opportunity to speak and for the work that you're doing, because I know it's very time-consuming. So back in 2008, Southbury benchmarked with other towns regarding our form of government. It was decided that we would maintain town meetings and a 6-member board of selectmen, including the first selectman form of government, along with the full and part-time staff and an administrator staff person with operational responsibility. And I actually like that form of government and would like to stay with it. I want to make sure that the people running our town live in our town and thus have a vested interest in decisions made, and the residents have a voice in that process and not after the fact. I believe our current form of government best meets these goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. please.
Okay. Kathy DeCarly, Flag Swamp Road. 3 things. First, we were talking about the possibility of changing the name from Selectmen to something else that's more gender neutral. I've never been a fan of Selectmen because it sounds like a 3rd grader named it. So I think we can come up, we all have thesauruses, so I'm sure we can come up with something better like director or something like that. Second, I would like the Board of Selectmen to have a 4-year term that stagnates so that we won't have a situation where it's a completely new board because everybody got voted out. And third, I would like to be able to vote for more than just 3 selectmen at a time. I would like to be able to vote for the amount of selectmen that are representing me. I don't think we should be restricted to just voting for 3 selectmen. And that's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Good
Please.
evening. My name is Fred Sell. I live at 108 Nod Hill Road. I wish to highlight the need for revisions to the charter to improve the town's multi-year planning process. My comments tonight are informed by my involvement with the Strategic Plan Commission over the last 3 years and my 40 years as a resident in the town of Southbury, raising 4 kids. I believe our town needs and would benefit from a more formalized and transparent long-range planning process that covers the full scope of our government's responsibilities. Such a process should cover all vital functions, including senior and social services, Parks and Recreation, Public Works, Public Safety, the library, and government operations in general. The Plan of Conservation and Development and the land use planning responsibilities of the Planning Commission do not cover this full scope. At a minimum, this comprehensive planning process should produce a short list of prioritized initiatives that the town intends to focus on over the next 5 years to address significant issues and opportunities. This multi-year plan should be reviewed and updated annually in the summer or early fall by the Board of Selectmen so that it can be considered in establishing the annual town budget. This review prior to annual budgeting will help ensure that adequate funding is being provided and prudently allocated to the full development and execution of prioritized multi-year programs. Over the last year, various worthwhile pop-up initiatives, multi-year initiatives, have surfaced that require significant commitment of town resources. However, to my knowledge, they were not considered beforehand along with other possible initiatives in a transparent priority setting process by our elected Board of Selectmen. Even though Section 302 of the current charter stipulates that the Board of Selectmen is responsible for establishing overall strategy and policy for the town. Also, Section 402 of the charter stipulates in paragraph 5B that the first selectman is responsible for preparing and annual updating a strategic plan for the town subject to approval by the Board of Selectmen. I am told this was inserted in the charter in the 2009 revision. It was not until 2018, however, that a town strategic plan developed by an appointed task force was unanimously adopted by the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen, however, has not formally approved an updated plan since then. The current charter in Section 508, paragraph R, provides for a strategic plan commission. This was added in 2019 after approval of the strategic plan. For various reasons, the Strategic Plan Commission has not been utilized by the Board of Selectmen to facilitate implementation as expected by the task force that recommended its creation. A review of best practices places the responsibility and accountability for municipal planning on the municipal chief executive officer, in our case, the first selectman, with the duty of engaging the town stakeholders to ensure comprehensive input and subsequent engagement and implementation. To be effective, planning should not be outsourced to a non-elected body that does not have such stakeholder representation and implementation responsibility. The current charter language has not enabled a visible and effective multi-year planning process for our town. If this charter commission believes that Southbury citizens deserve and can benefit from a more formal, effective, and transparent longer-range planning process, then I urge you to consider and adopt more explicit enabling language, including specific deliverables and due dates.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I will submit suggested revisions.
Please,
for
no,
doing
we'll
this.
look forward to that, please. Thank you.
Hi, Ann Westerman, 1063 Main Street North. I'm a commissioner on the Southbury Historic District Commission, and for 2 years now, we have been running an agenda item to discuss the consolidation of the 2 historic district commissions in town. I am absolutely in agreement about the volunteer engagement issue that we have, and this has been our solution or potential. So we've been discussing it as a commission. We have met with the South Britain Historic District Commission a couple of times and have invited it over time. There really hasn't been much discussion, but part of that is because we sort of said, well, there's nothing we can do until the charter gets revised. So my comments are off the cuff because I realized I wanted to come tonight and just place this on the table for discussion. I haven't prepared anything, nor do I know anything about the process, so I look forward to talking to you further. Joe has my contact information, but I'm happy to submit that as well.
Thank you, Ann. Appreciate it. Don't be shy. All thoughts welcome. Well, again, if we don't have any other feedback and you think of something, we did set up the electronic means for submission, 2 different mechanisms, and we're going to be maintaining all of that information along with what's been presented tonight by the folks who did get up and talk to us. So, I think it's 2 weeks until our next regular meeting where we'll start to figure out how we're going to go about this and the process that we're going to follow. If you want to say something, you can come up. Yeah. Did you use this 5 minutes already? I guess, okay.
This is just a question of clarification.
Sure.
How would you prefer getting input of additional ideas? You have the form that you set up, or you mentioned sending an email. Would you rather have it by email or through the form?
Whichever you like. We'll review, we'll use both those mechanisms and compile them.
Would you email something into that single email?
Yes.
That we shared with?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. And, you know, it just allows for a more free-form submission. The submitted form, things like says name, address, resident, et cetera. And it has a description field anyway, but either one works.
Does it allow for adding attachments?
Yes, absolutely.
You can actually do
through the email, you can provide attachments. I think, I don't know that the form does. No, I think the form is limited to text, so, okay. And we tried to get that across to folks in the public release, the press release, and tell your friends. So, it's an ongoing process, but we'll be looking at all that information. Unless there's anybody else who wants to speak tonight, I'm going to end the public hearing. We had budgeted 2 hours, but we did pretty well here. And again, your comments are very welcome. Appreciate you coming out tonight and sharing them with us. It's valuable, and a lot of us, some of us on the commission have also made comments to the prior commissions, and we'll be looking at the old minutes, we'll be looking at what processes were followed, all the documentation that was shared tonight will be thoughtfully considered. So I hope that makes a difference. I think that's it. I don't know how I formally close this.
Do you need a motion to close the public hearing? Make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll second it.
Second, so that was Jason saying he would make the motion, and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out tonight.